Sure, yeah. I'm Chase Hartman. I'm a freshman at the University of Florida studying business admin, and I'm originally from Tampa, Florida, which is where I'm at right now. I'm all kind of following the same, mission, I guess, of promoting education, equity, and promoting the environment overall. But we're doing it in our own local communities, the communities that we know the best, and it can also go a long way on.
Hi guys, welcome to The World is Your Bowl of Noodles, Slurp Noodles, and Chat. Your host is Jordan Eva Quay, and my guest is Chase Hartman, the co-founder of Ecobrothers, a nonprofit organization. And I hope you enjoyed today's video, and please like and share. All right, so Chase, do you want to introduce yourself, tell the audience what you do, and so on?
Sure, yeah. I'm Chase Hartman. I'm a freshman at the University of Florida studying business admin, and I'm originally from Tampa, Florida, which is where I'm at right now. I am very passionate about all things education, the environment, all things like that, just kind of youth in general, students in general. And that's where I co-founded my own nonprofit, Ecobrothers, with my brother in 2020. It originally started as a project called Read Repeat though in 2016, which I ran with my best friend. But we do a bunch of things. We donate books to low income Title I schools in the Tampa Bay area. We run a global youth council empowering other young leaders to take action on education and the environment and related issues all around the world now. And we do beach cleanups, park cleanups. We engage in a lot of kind of fun volunteering events as well. But I'm very passionate about it, love doing it as well. And I just love supporting students.
That is amazing. I was reading your post and I saw that you raised like $175,000 and also like 225,000 books. And I just want to know, how did you achieve that level of success for your nonprofit?
Yeah, I think it took a lot of listening and learning to really kind of grow Eco Brothers throughout the years. And I think the most important thing that I learned out of it was to really rely on my community for all the support and kind of growth that we've had. And I think at the start of when we started Eco Brothers in 2016, it was mainly focused on used books, and we were doing a bunch of book deliveries and getting a lot of support from the community. But it was really when we started talking to media specialists and principals at schools, we were able to really kind of better learn what the needs of specific schools in our area were. So those were really the needs for more diverse books or dual language books in schools that have a majority of students who speak Spanish as their first language. So kind of it was really about listening and learning, and it was also just about small steps. You know, it's we've donated over 225,000 books, but that has been over 8 years, and I think it's really just been, one day at a time, really just taking those days to sort books, to send a few emails each day, to coordinate book deliveries. It's just built up over time, and I think, anyone can really make a big difference if they just take those small steps every single day to build up that impact and make it really grand and big.
Yes, I honestly believe in patience and applying time in what you do. Also, you have to enjoy what you do. You have to put a lot of effort and like just a lot of passion. And I wanted to know, you center around books with your nonprofit. And I want to understand, what is the importance of books and why do they matter?
Yeah, I think books play a really key role in students when they're kind of exploring their passions. So this is mainly the reason why we focus on kind of younger kids, so elementary schoolers and sometimes middle schoolers, is because this is the time where they're learning so many different subjects, so many different things, and books might be the way for them to kind of get introduced to a lot of topics that might not be directly discussed in school, or they might be directly discussed in school and they might want to kind of expand off of those topics. But I think books are a really great way for students to kind of go into that world of reading, kind of gain those perspectives, gain kind of a bunch of different topics and really learn from them, kind of what are their passions, what do they want to kind of focus on and maybe have fun with as their hobbies throughout their later life, or maybe even their careers. This is a really important time, especially in, middle school and elementary school. It might not seem like an important time for students to really kind of be discovering those things, but if they know their passions at an early age, they're going to have a really kind of easier time figuring out what they want to do for their career, and it's going to motivate them to succeed in their later life. So it's really just all about kind of finding their passions and really having fun with reading.
Yes. Is it too late for high schoolers though? To my opinion, I'm a high schooler, and do you think it's much harder for us to start getting into like the motivation to read, or is it just like something with our minds? I don't know.
Yeah, I think, I mean, for me personally, it was definitely very difficult to read sometimes in high school, but I think it's really never too late. I think the reason why we focus on elementary schoolers is because a lot of these kids that we're supporting just simply don't have books in their own homes. And by providing them those books and that kind of support basically at an early age, I really think that it motivates some of these students to kind of keep up, keep succeeding, I guess, throughout their middle school and their high school years. But I definitely don't think it's too early to start exploring your passions. My passions in high school, what I wanted to major in, what I want to do as a career, changed so much during high school and still is changing now as I'm in college, kind of taking different courses. So it's definitely never too late.
It's never too late. I mean, I have books that are like collecting dust right now, but trust me, I'm gonna finish them by hopefully 2025. But I also wanted to know, how can people reach out to your organization and contribute? If so, donate more books.
Yeah, I think a really great way to do this is by joining our youth council. It's open to youth worldwide ages 13 through 23. And this is something that we started earlier this year, back in about March and April is when we started accepting applications. But it's really grown a lot since then. And we do a bunch of different kind of virtual volunteering initiatives and monthly Zoom meetings where we kind of take on different leaders and different organizations and nonprofits to kind of share their opportunities. So it's really just a place for other youth to meet each other and to learn and grow and kind of really just collaborate and learn off of each other through, their different projects or what they're doing in school, what kind of programs they're applying for. There's a lot of kind of fun information and fun opportunities, I guess, that have been shared around throughout the youth council. And we've also kind of now been able to directly support a lot of our youth council members through grants. So we were able to give five $250 grants to our youth council, some of our youth council members in the fall 2025 grant cycle that we just opened up. And we're also opening up another grant for spring to really just support some projects that are surrounding education or sustainability, the environment, things like that. So I think the youth council is definitely the best way for anyone to get involved. But of course, if anyone listening is local to Tampa, they can also donate any of their used books, kind of clean out their basements, their attics of their old books, and support in that way as well.
I love how you include the youth in like a lot of what you do for your nonprofit. It's so like it's so good, and it's also important to include a lot of Gen Z, because I feel like what the
Right.
media says about Gen Z is so false, because I think we are more
Hmm.
active and we know what we want for our future. And I just
Right.
want to understand, because you also put apply more service onto underdeveloped communities, and I want to know, how can we, or like my friends or any of us, how can we draw more attention to communities who are underdeveloped and give them more support and more service?
Really, just to give kind of underserved communities more support, what I've really found is kind of to first directly kind of enter these communities and kind of familiarize yourself with their needs. I think a lot of, and I don't, I'm not pointing fingers at anyone, but I think some volunteer work really just assumes the needs of other people before really kind of understanding what's really going on. And I think that's how we've grown so much as through Ecobrothers is really by talking to students, talking to parents and principals of these Title I schools, and really kind of understanding what they would like to see from us rather than kind of just imposing in a big grand project and not really knowing where it's going to go. And I think the teamwork throughout that is has really kind of helped us grow and make such a greater impact rather than kind of just assuming, the needs of other people.
I really like how you quoted that in your the first question. You said you like we listen and we learn. And I like how you listen to communities and like they tell you what they need, because some people do assume what people need, but we don't really know what they need. What they need might not be
Right.
like what they actually need, but I like that, and it's really important that you listen to the people. And I wanted to know, for someone who wants to start a nonprofit organization, what type of advice would you give to them as far as like how to get started or like how to raise funds?
Yeah, I think the first step in kind of starting any project, any service project, is to really consider your own passions. What are you interested about that's going to give you the motivation to make really good change in your community? You can start a project on literally anything, but if you don't have maybe a little background knowledge or a little bit of interest in that topic, you might not be motivated to work on it and to really put some time towards that project. So I would definitely say start out with kind of finding that passion, and then second, really figuring out who your support system is. It could be your whole community, it could be your family, maybe even just your friends, but who is going to be there for you to give you advice and to really keep you going. And for me, at the start of my project, that was my good friend Najari. He had started a bunch of service projects and he's local to the Tampa Bay area. And he really kind of guided me on connecting with schools and forming a relationship with my um, county's public school system at the start of my project. And it really helped us kind of grow because we were getting consistent connections to deliveries and consistent used book donations from people from that. But you really have to consider your support system and really consider your passions to be able to, get started and then kind of just go from there and see where it goes.
Yes, people, it's always good to have like people who give you the right advice because honestly, a lot of what I do, I need people to tell me if I'm doing the right thing. Because if I don't,
Mhm.
I don't know. I'm like just running around blindlessly, not knowing what I'm doing. But
Yeah.
I'm curious to know like how have the Eco Brothers like spread just beyond Florida, but to other states? Because I've noticed you've reached out to like Texas and like North Carolina. I'm just curious, like how did that happen?
Yeah, it was kind of a spontaneous decision that I made to kind of get volunteers from, other states and other countries earlier this year. But um, I guess what really kind of sparked my interest to kind of start like a youth council and to involve other people from other places was that, you can really make a big impact in your local community, and that's super important. But when it came to, trying to facilitate other book deliveries in other states, there comes, the obstacle of it's too much money or it's, just too much effort to transport those books. But I thought that the youth council would be a really great way to kind of try to inspire youth to be creative with starting their own project, kind of aligning with Eco Brothers values, but adding their own creative twist to it in a way and taking you know, that time to really make that effort and make that impact in their own local communities. And I think that's really what I've seen is so great about the youth council is that we're all kind of following the same mission, I guess, of promoting education, equity, and promoting the environment overall. But we're doing it in our own local communities, the communities that we know the best, and it's making such a bigger impact than, shipping books halfway across the world where it costs too much money. So, yeah.
Yes, in my school we do have like a youth council, and it's so fun being around people who like are young and who have such like driving ideas, who want to change the world, and
Mhm.
it's like an amazing feeling that you're there at that moment with them.
Yeah.
And this is like now I'm moving more into like books, but also there has been a lot of books being banned recently in our current years, and I want to get your opinion on the censorship and the banning of books.
Yeah, so I say Ego Brothers struggled with this a lot in early 2023 was kind of when a wave of book bannings was coming through Florida. And like personally in my county, there was not a lot of books banned, but it affected a lot of the ways Eco Brothers was able to distribute books to kids. So a lot of our deliveries that we had scheduled at around that time were either postponed or canceled just because a lot of the teachers didn't want to get fired for taking in books that they, didn't know if the books were allowed or not. So it was a really big obstacle in our project, but I think what I really thought about the situation, especially for Eco Brothers, was that, for our project, we weren't able to give kids these free educational resources that we had been, providing students in our community for years now, and it was really hindering their ability to succeed in the classroom in a way, especially for some of the schools that we had partnerships with and we've been doing kind of recurring deliveries with. We've seen a lot of growth in some of those schools, and for them to cancel our deliveries. It was understandable at the time, but it was really kind of disheartening because we weren't able to reach so many kids. And for a little bit, I, shared my perspective. I spoke at a school board meeting and connected with a state representative and a school board, president of the school board to do a few out of school book deliveries. And that was a really great solution at the time. But I think moving forward in the future, we really need to emphasize the fact that different perspectives are, very valuable. And I think that's kind of what we should focus on when promoting just reading and kind of education overall, is that it's really important to kind of let kids, have be able to kind of choose their own books that they want to read and be able to kind of have that power to explore their own passions, because that's where their motivation and their growth is going to come from throughout school, is really having the opportunity to, choose their own classes and, choose what kind of extracurriculars they want to get involved in, and also choosing their own books. And I think that's just a really important thing about school, is really just gaining those perspectives, meeting new people, learning new things. And I think books is a really great part of that. So I don't think that a lot of them should be banned just for that reason.
I feel like what you just said is very true because like books do hold much power. When I was a kid, I loved reading books because it was like a place where I can have like more of my imagination to flow. And I learned a lot through books. And I believe that it is important that kids are introduced to a lot of perspectives and ideas, that we're all different people with different motivations, and it's okay to be different. But I feel like with book banning, you're blocking that potential, and also that like you're limiting their knowledge, and it's not good for like
Right.
our generation. But it's very important topic to like touch on. But I do want to know, how does it make you feel when you see like children given the right resources to learn and to further their knowledge?
Yeah, it makes me feel amazing. Um, Of course, that's what Eco Brothers works towards every single day, is really making sure that kids have those equitable resources. And for us, we mainly focus on books, but that can be, proper transportation to school or proper kind of testing materials. It can be really, a lot of different things depending on what school you're looking at. But I think throughout Eco Brothers, we've seen a lot of growth in some of the schools that we've been kind of focusing on, and it's not really big growth. It's little growth, little by little, throughout each book delivery, and just, by forming those partnerships with some of the schools that we've had, we've really been able to see this growth, and I think that's what motivates us, because a lot of the times, especially throughout COVID, we were just dropping off books at schools and kind of leaving it near their front office. But a really cool thing about Eco Brothers is that we do in-school book deliveries, where we kind of set up all the books on the tables and, have kids choose usually around 2 to 3 books of their own. And I think having those kids kind of have that personal choice to pick out those books really motivates them. And I think it gives them, it shows them that they have a support system. It shows them, that these materials are there because they have that support system that really wants them to succeed. And so I think that's what Eco Brothers has really done a great job at doing, is just giving the kids that support system that, they might not have otherwise at home or in their community. And it's really helped them succeed. I mean, one of our schools that we've been in contact with for a few years, that we were able to raise their reading scores from an F to a B in just a few years. So, we really hope to kind of keep up acts just like that and continue a lot of the work that we do, and just really keep giving those kids that kind of support.
Yes. When and I'm bringing like a lot of memories back from when I was a kid, but like books are so like big in my life. When I was a kid, we had this little cute book fair, and we would all just like go around picking what books. And I wouldn't even like worry about what the theme of the book was. It was always the covers that got me, like the
Hmm.
pretty little pinks and the blues. It was just colors. I love colors. So like I would grab whatever caught my eye. But knowing that we're going into like 2025, I just want to know, do you have any certain goals that you want to achieve for the Eco Brothers nonprofit organization?
Yeah, I'd say a really big goal is just to keep expanding our youth council, and really just focusing, I guess, on the organization of it. It's been a really great and new initiative, but I think it can be a lot better if we focus a lot on kind of, splitting up roles and kind of dividing how we're carrying out a lot of our initiatives within the council. I think that's a really big thing. And then also, I would love to kind of focus more on the importance of dual language books. It's something that we've done in the past a lot, but I think especially in the Tampa Bay area, um, bi bilingualism is very important, not just for uh, English language learning students, but it's also very important for students that speak English as their first language. I think, especially in Florida, I think it can go a long way on how we communicate with each other, and it can also go a long way on, students' future careers even. It can give them a lot more opportunities, and I think I want to really focus on that on a lot of our book deliveries in the next few months.
I like how you talked about bilingualism because
Mhm,
I'm currently taking Chinese class right now, and
mhm.
it's not hard, but like when you communicate, when you learn how like to learn the language, it's very fun. Books that are bilingual, you're teaching kids new languages, you're bringing it, you're like introducing a different type of culture to them that is such
Right.
amazing, and the history is so deep. And I know I touched on this on my last question before, but I want to know your opinion. What do you think about Gen Z, Generation Z?
Yeah, I think we're a very powerful generation, and we, I think what I see a lot in Gen Z is that we will do kind of anything to really get involved and to it just I'd say overall, kind of what I'm trying to say is that I think Gen Z is very just curious. I think we're always, looking out for new ideas, new things to learn, and just new ways to grow, I think. And I think especially with I see that a lot within my youth council members is a lot of them are kind of looking for new organizations to get involved in, new kind of topics to learn about, and that's something that I'm trying to kind of find the resources to provide them to give them the ability to do that. But I'd say overall, I think Gen Z is just very, very curious.
We are. I feel like I'm very, very curious. Like, not too curious, but like, I like to learn. I want to know more,
Right.
especially what's on the news, what's on everything. Like, if my parents are talking about something, I just want to know what's going on. Because, like, I'm just very nosy, and that's kind of a thing I
Yeah.
struggle with. But hey, it got me through school. It is getting me through high school. So as long as I'm good with that, I'm fine. But
Mhm.
I talked on my last interview with San Yu. She is a not a biliteracy, but a diverse literature advocate. And we talked about how like people reading books, well, children reading books are declining. Like with AI, with technology, people reading physical books, it's declining in all over the country. And I want to know, how can we motivate children to read more books and be active readers?
Really, kind of, at least what I've seen within my group of friends is that kind of when we see that kind of other people are, engaging in literacy and, finding out new things and kind of exploring themselves through literacy, it kind of motivates them to also read as well. And I think, seeing my friends read books, it also makes me kind of think, what books do I have in my room? What books can I read at the moment? Because they just read a really great book, and now I want to finish my book so I can read their book. And I think that kind of community of reading is really important for um, young people to have. And I think it really just can start with one person. If one friend or one person in a school is really passionate about kind of literacy and reading and shares that with others, they might bring in, five or six more people to read with them and kind of share that love, and then that group will kind of grow and grow. And I think just really forming that community is really important, and I think it's really motivating for other people to kind of start reading as well.
My friend, she loves to read. Like I tell you, she reads day and night. And I always like,
Mhm.
she would say, "You need to read this book. You need to read this book." And I'm just like, "No, because it's not my type of book. Like I'm into all these different books." But she says you have to read them, and like we will read like books together. And it's just like I've gotten into reading just through her. So thank you to
Right.
her. But um, in wrapping up this interview, I have a few more questions left, but I want to know, do you have any words of motivation or daily affirmations that you tell to yourself to stay motivated?
My kind of the biggest thing that I tell myself is really just, or I guess it's really, I question myself if what I'm doing at the current moment is really making me happy. And I do this a lot with, my extracurriculars, or even just if I'm sitting on my bed scrolling on my phone, I question, am I happy right now? Or could I be doing something that's more fulfilling and kind of better for me in a way? And I think in a way, it's really good to constantly have that in the back of my mind, to really think about how I'm kind of just bettering myself every single day, whether, it's needing to go on a bike ride, washing my face, brushing my teeth. There's so many kind of small things that you might kind of miss, even if it's just hydrating, drinking water a lot, that you might get distracted from doing that compared to scrolling on your phone or doing other things. And I really just question myself every day, am I happy with what I'm doing at the moment, and can I be doing something else that might make me a little bit more happier.
Yeah. What you said is like the most realist thing ever because literally I'm always on my iPad, always on my laptop, scrolling through like social media. I'm like, am I procrastinating? Because like instead of doing this, I could be doing something else productive, but I'm not. But I
Mhm.
still sit down and still scroll on social media for 2 hours, which is unhealthy.
Yep.
But working on it, that is my daily, like, I want to work on that in 2025 to get better at that. But
Mhm.
I want to ask you one little funny little question. I always ask people this question, but I want to know what is your favorite bowl of noodles?
Favorite bowl of noodles. Ah, I really say I'm going for the classic chicken noodle soup. I love chicken. I'll have it in literally everything, tacos, eggs, literally anything. I think chicken noodle soup's amazing as well.
Oh my gosh, my mom makes the best chicken. Like the way she seasons it is just so good. I don't know how. It's like
Yeah.
undescribable. But chicken is top protein meal for me.
Hmm.
And
Yes.
I want to know, this is the last question. Do you have any last words for the audience who are watching or anything that you want to point out that I didn't get to touch on during the interview?
One last thing I'd say is just get involved and keep doing what you love, and don't be afraid to really kind of, speak up and be passionate about what you love, because even if in kind of your direct view, you might not have a lot of people that are supporting you on those views. There's people all around the world that you can connect with that might share those same views as you, and you'll still have that community and that kind of support system to motivate you. So really just, keep doing what you love and don't be afraid to share your voice.
That is amazing. Thank you so much, Chase. You have been amazing. Just hearing your whole
Thank
nonprofit
you.
organization, the purpose was absolutely astonishing. And I hope you continue this journey and never give up. And just thank you so much.
Thank you. And thank you for having me.
Yes, you're welcome. Thank you so much. Have a good day.
But while we wait for better days, we can take a minute and breathe. Or wait up all our noodles and just pray. Yeah, even though it all seems crazy, we can take a